my God. Oh my John, I can't
Okay.
believe that I am talking to you. And the first thing I want to say is your tribute to Suzuki Roshi when you wrote your book with the beginner's mind theory was amazing. And today I actually did the body scan in the morning because usually I fall asleep at night to it. But this morning I
Yeah,
tried
of course.
to fall awake. Really, really worked. And to me, I know it's not magical thinking, it really worked. And
It's awesome.
I am, I am so glad to be talking to you. And my
When you
question
say,
is like
do you
now
mind
that
if I
I'm,
ask you a question?
oh,
Do you mind if I
please,
ask you a question, Francis? When
no,
you say it really
please do.
worked, when you say it really worked, what do you mean by worked?
I
I'm
felt,
interested in hearing that.
I felt awake when I got up.
Okay.
I
That's
felt,
all. Thank
you
you.
know, I felt that I wasn't tired. I felt that I had to keep going back to the scan to the different parts of my body, but I kept going until I got to the blowhole, which I always loved that because I loved whales and dolphins before you put that on the scan. But I felt awake and in a much better mood. I teach pre-K special ed in New Jersey, and I've been online with the parents, like in the morning with the parents and in the afternoon with
Yeah.
you. And it's been an amazing thing. But now that I'm like hitting your age and a grandmother and thinking about retiring, and you'd keep talking about the karmic journey, and like I wonder what's next. And I know I can't know, but that's like, when the younger people ask you questions about their journey, it's one thing, but when someone is approaching my age, your age, and been into this off and on for like 50 years also, it's like, what now? So I'm really in
It's a
in
great
a
question.
transition period, and
Yeah.
I
Well,
am like
fantastic.
speechless right now.
Yeah.
And
What
that's my
now
question.
is very different from what next. Because
Mm,
when you are in the now, so to speak, the next moment's totally different because you're no longer concerned about the future. You're
mm.
living your way into it moment by moment by moment. So you don't need me to give you some dime store answer about what's next because how the hell could I know? But you know what's now. And when you make yourself available like that, the future also all of a sudden presents new possibilities to you. I've said this many times, but
Mhm.
because because you've made yourself available. And whether it's to grandmotherhood or whether it's to the changes that you experience in your body that we all experience as we age, and the fear of like getting closer and closer to not being on the planet and all the complexities of that too, like what the legacy is or what, how the children will do in your absence and all of that kind of stuff. Well, welcome to the club of humanity. I mean, there's nobody that I know who's actually escaped sickness, old age, and death. I mean, I don't think there's one exception.
Right.
So so we all know it, but we all like just put it off, we put it off. But when we don't put it off, then in a sense, every out breath is a kind of dying, right? If the next in breath isn't coming, forget about it.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
then, but the next in breath comes in, it's like a gift. I mean, it's like, how did that happen? It's certainly not dependent on Frances herself, to make it happen because it happens during your sleeping as well as awake.
Right. Right.
So you're in this sweet spot now where, the world is, as Mary Oliver said, offering itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, announcing your place in the family of things at your age, however old you are. Well, fantastic.
Close to
Welcome
you.
to the
Close to you.
adventure.
I said close
Yeah,
to
you keep
your
saying that,
age.
but give me a number then. Give me a number. It's like
71.
I'm
71.
okay,
Oh,
and I'm 75 for
okay.
now.
For now.
And,
Yeah.
and you can see the horizon. There's no
Mm,
question that you can see the horizon. The
right.
interesting about the horizon is that the closer you get to the horizon, the more it recedes.
Mm, mm,
So it gives, I mean, and say, well, I didn't sign up for this. I don't want my bones to disintegrate or my heart to have problems or my hair to fall out or my face to be wrinkled or whatever it is. And so, well, welcome to the club. Who asked you?
right, right,
And
right.
who is it that's even saying, I don't want my face to be wrinkled or my hair to be, who's that? And when we penetrate into that, then it's like age falls away.
Right.
And your grandchildren are going to love that because you'll be 100% available to them. I'm sure you are already.
On
And then,
FaceTime.
well, yeah, we do it as best we can, right?
Right.
FaceTime is a saving grace.
Yep. I joke with my daughter that we need to make a blessing for FaceTime and Zoom, especially now, because this is the only way that we can see so many of the people that we love.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's so true. And it's again, we're waking up to some of the precious aspects of technology that maybe we mostly dismissed as being problematic or addictive or threatening our privacy or all sorts of things like that. And that's all true. And the algorithms are coming and it can get a lot more scary. But for
Mhm.
now, I mean, imagine if we didn't have the internet. And
Right,
there used to not be an internet.
right.
And in those days, you really had to meditate because that was the way there wasn't an internet, but there was an Indra's net, and you could connect with the entire planet that way. And guess what? You still do. You don't need the laptop. So
Right.
even if the internet went down, and let me just say this in case the internet goes down, God forbid that should ever happen. Everything that we've been exploring is exactly the same. Do we want to lose our minds because of our dependency on something, or do we want to actually bring our minds to the challenge of the moment?
Right.
I hope that doesn't happen, but the most important thing is that we remember, as Suzuki, again, I'm going to quote Suzuki Roshi
I
because
love when you do.
so he once said, the most important thing, the most important point is to remember what is the most important point.
So one more point. So when you talk
Okay.
about multiple intelligences, are you going back to Howard Gardner and his theories of multiple intelligences?
Whatever you want.
Okay, because it's like I feel like the trinity of like, Dan Siegel, Howard Gardner, Coleman, and you and Davidson. All of you guys are on this thing that has to do with education as well as meditation,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
and it's a wonderful thing.
Well,
I
just to
can't tell you.
say, it's not like I had Howard Gardner or Dan Siegel or anybody or even Richie in mind when I'm speaking this way. It's just, it's not coming out of thinking so
Mhm,
much.
mhm, mhm,
Although it's not like I don't have that available. So
mhm.
from that point of view, it's really making ourselves available to what's here for now and recognizing that it is a blessing
Yeah.
that we're still breathing, that we have what it is that we have, even though we're threatened and there's so much loss and everything else. And let's not forget that the word blessing comes from the French blessure. There are an awful lot of people in this community that are, in France, from in the French speaking countries, Belgium,
Mhm.
Switzerland, and so forth. And the word blessure in French means wound. So it's an interesting
Mm,
connection between being wounded, receiving a wound, and receiving a blessing.
mm,
So sometimes even blessings hurt. And
mhm,
we're at a moment like that here where you will not understand this. None of us will be able to understand this with our thinking mind.
mhm.
But when we hold it with the multiplicity of intelligences that are native to us,
Mhm, mhm,
just
mhm,
by virtue of being born uh, and having grown up, cared for, nurtured,
mhm,
taken care of while we develop,
mhm, mhm.
then that's the authenticity.
Right.
And every single one of us has it in a unique constellation of it. And I just love that.
Yeah.
And then we don't have to appeal to any authority, neuroscience studies or this psychologist or Howard Gardner's intelligences, or those are all models of the reality that's available to us 24/7, every single one of us, filtering it through our own filters, some of which are our blindness and some of which are our particular forms of cleverness that everybody has and every single one of your students has. And your job is, as a teacher, is to not let anybody kill that for them.
100%.
And very
And
often
just
that's
to let you
exactly
know,
what education does, is it meaning all, as meaning a lot, meaning well, they sometimes
it, the
collapse
curiosity, right?
some
But
of the,
I just want to say one thing is that in
well,
my
please.
classroom, we eat alphabet cookies mindfully. And sometimes when they eat a snack, they say, Miss Seneca, do we have to eat this mindfully? And to
Yeah.
me, it's such a compliment when they say
That's
that.
awesome.
John, I can't,
But once
there's no
they know
words,
about
but
eating
thank you.
mindfully, thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you so
Yeah,
Be
much.
well.
beautiful.
Thank you. You gave me
Thanks
a
for,
great gift.
yeah, well, it's wonderful. We really appreciate what you're articulating. And let me just say, I've said it before, but well, you're speaking for all the teachers here and all the teachers everywhere. And every one of us, when we get to ask a question and somehow gets recognized, it's not just your question, because all these questions are alive in us in a certain way, in our not knowing, in our uncertainties, in our insecurities. And it's really helpful that we in community start to reflect on, we don't need some authority to make it right for us. We need to find our own authenticity. And then the authority lies in our own hearts. And yes, of course, we listen to each other and we learn from each other
Mhm, mhm.
and read all those people's books that you mentioned.
Yes.
But that's extra.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you a
Thank you,
million
Francis.
times.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be well.
I'm
Stay
seeing
safe.